Hello, Breakman79 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Planescape Torment.
I don't trust the Gith. I say we leave him behind.
And, no, we're not going to leave him behind, Morty. It has been brought to my attention that I have been missing out on something here.
Endure.
Every time I've been asking Dakon here about the Circle of Zerthimon, and have I read it yet, it's right here. Stupid thing. Dakon was holding out on me. Alright, let's see if we can use this thing. The Unbroken Circle of Zerthimon. This small round stone is the Unbroken Circle of Zerthimon. It is made up of a series of interlocking circles that fold out from one another. The complexity of the plates and the intricacy of their links prove the text was constructed by a master artisan. Here we go. Unlock the first plate as Dakon showed me. You mirror the motions that Dakon made upon the circle, and the plates give way at your touch. The rings sliding into a new configuration. Upon the rings are a series of symbols. The script is like no writing you have ever seen. It is a series of interlocking geometries with circles predominating. Just looking at it, you know the symbols and know you can read them. Here we go, read the first circle. Know that we are the first people. Okay. Once all was chaos. The first people were thought drawn from chaos. When the first people came to know themselves, they were chaos no longer. It became flesh. Okay. With their thoughts and knowing of matter, the people shaped the first world and dwelled there with their knowing to sustain them. Yet the flesh was new to the people, and with it, the people came not to know themselves. The flesh gave rise to new thoughts, greed and hate, pains and joys, jealousies and doubts. All of these fed on each other, and the minds of the people were divided. In their division, the people were punished. The emotions of the flesh were strong. The greed and hates, the pains and joys, the jealousies and doubts, all of these served as a guiding stone to enemies. In becoming flesh, the first people became enslaved to those who knew flesh only as tools for their will. No, these beasts were the Illithids. The Illithids were a race that had come not to know themselves. They had learned how to make other races not know themselves. They were the tentacled ones. They lived in flesh and saw flesh as tools for their will. Their blood was as water, and they shaped minds with their thoughts. When the Illithids came upon the people were no more. The people became slaves. The Illithids took the people from the first world and brought them to the false worlds. As the people labored upon the false worlds, the Illithids taught them the way of the flesh. Through them, the people came to know loss. They came to know suffering. They came to know death, both of the body and mind. They came to know what is it to be the herd of another and have their flesh consumed. They came to know the horror of being made to feel joy in such things. Okay, let's finish this. The Unbroken Circle is the knowing of how the people lost themselves, and how they came to know themselves again. Okay, I believe we were done. Now let's talk to good old Dakon. Okay,
Your will be done.
Let's try this.
What is your will?
Okay, there are things I want to know. Let's talk about your teachings. Okay, I have read the Unbroken Circle of Zerthimon. I want to speak to you more about the ways of Zerthimon. What did you come to know? Strength lies in knowing oneself. I learned that once someone does not know themselves, they are lost. They become a tool for others.
Updated my journal.
You have come to know the first circle of Zerthimon. You not only see the words of Zerthimon, you have come to know them. Dakon holds up the circle and hooks his fingers around the edges. There is a click, and the plates of the circle slide into a new configuration. He reverses the motion, sealing the stone. No, the second circle of Zerthimon is open to you. Study it. Then I will hear your words. Oh, okay. Well,
I cannot part with that.
Let's read it again. Okay, unlock the second circle. You slide the plates. No, it's the exact same text. Well, let's just jump ahead. Know that flesh cannot mark steel. Know that steel may mark flesh. And knowing this, Zerthimon became free. Know that the tentacled ones were of flesh. They relied on the flesh and used it as tools for their will. One of the places where flesh served their will was the fields of husks on the false worlds of the Illithids. The fields were where the bodies of the people were cast after being Illithids had consumed their brains. When the brain has been devoured, the husks come to be fertilizer to grow the poison-stemmed grasses of the Illithids. Zerthimon worked the fields with no knowing of himself or what he had become. He was a tool of flesh, and the flesh was content. It was upon these fields that Zerthimon came to know the scriptures of steel. During one of the turnings, as Zerthimon tilled the fields with his hands, he came across a husk whose brain remained within it. It had not been used as food, yet it was dead. The thought that one of the husks had died a death without serving as food for the Illithids was a thought Zerthimon had difficulty understanding. From that thought came desire to know what had happened to the husk. Embedded in the skull of the husk was a steel blade. It had pierced the bone. Zerthimon realized that was what had killed the husk. The steel had marked the flesh, but the flesh had not marked the steel. Zerthimon took the blade and studied its surface. In it he saw his reflection. It was in the reflection of the steel that Zerthimon first knew himself. Its edge was sharp. Its will the wearer's. It was the blade that would come to be raised against Gith, with Zerthimon made the pronouncement of two skies. Zerthimon kept the blade for many turnings, and many were the thoughts he had about it. He used it in the fields to aid his work. In using it, he thought about how it was not used. The Illithids were powerful. Zerthimon had believed that there was nothing that they did not know. Yet the Illithids never carried tools of steel. They only used flesh as tools. Everything was done through flesh, for the tentacled ones were made of flesh and they knew flesh. Yet steel was superior to flesh. When the blade had killed the husk, it was the flesh that had been weaker than the steel. It was then that Zerthimon came to know that flesh yielded to steel. In knowing that, he came to know that steel was stronger than the Illithids. Alright. Steel became the scripture of the people. Know that steel is the scripture by which the people came to know freedom. Okay, let's go.
What is your will?
Talk to him about this now. Teachings. Okay, read the circle. What did you come to know? I learned that not knowing something can be a tool, just like flesh and steel. If upon encountering it you attempt to know its nature and how it came to be. I mean, this is technically what it says, but this is in the language of what Dakon wants.
I couldn't carry anymore, so I had to drop it.
I dropped something? You have seen the words and have seen beyond them. You have come to know the second circle of Zerthimon. takes the circle, and with a deft motion, he twists one of the links, and so one of the plates slides forth. But strangely enough, the stone still appears intact. He hands the plate to you. Meditate upon this teaching, and the knowing of it shall give you strength. When you have absorbed it, you shall now know more. Oh. Dakon's fingers feel on the edge of the stone circle, and he twists it clockwise, the links clicking until they have settled into a new configuration. He then reverses the motion, resetting the stone. The next circle of Zerthimon is open to you. Study it, and I will hear your words. Okay. Alright, let's get rid of some stuff. Mortuary key. I don't think I need that. Good enough. Let's see, what did he give us? Oh. Oh, it's a spell. Allows the user to copy Scripture of Steel. Let's see. Area of effect.
It's in my spell book.
Nice. Okay.
I hear your words.
Shall we keep on? Let us unlock the third circle. You slide the plates into the configuration Dakon showed you. And yes, we know. Zerthimon labored many turnings for the Illithid. Arlathi, twice deceased, and his partnership in the cavernous heavens of the false worlds. His duties would have broken the backs of many others, but Zerthimon labored on, suffering torment and exhaustion. It came to pass that the Illithid, Arlathi, twice deceased, ordered Zerthimon before him in his many-veiled Galleria. He claimed that Zerthimon had committed slights of obstinance and cowardice against his partnership. The claim had no weight of truth, for Arlathi only wished to know if flames raged within Zerthimon's heart. He wished to know if Zerthimon's heart was one of a slave or of a rebel. Zerthimon surrendered to the Illithid's punishment rather than reveal his newfound strength. He knew that were he to show that the hatred in his heart, it would serve nothing, and it would harm others that felt as he. He chose to endure the punishment and was placed within the pillars of silence so he might suffer for a turning. Lashed upon the pillars, Zerthimon moved his mind to a place where pain could not reach. Leaving his body behind, he lasted a turning, and when he was brought before Arlathi twice deceased, he gave gratitude for his punishment to the Illithid, as was custom. In so doing, he proved himself a slave in the Illithid's eyes, while his heart remained free. By enduring and quenching the fires of his hatred, he allowed Arlathi twice deceased to think him weak. When the time of the rising came, Arlathi was the first of the Illithid to know death by Zerthimon's hand, and die a third death. That is it.
What is your will?
Okay, here we go again. Teachings. We're at the circle. Let's see, what did you come to know? Endure. In enduring, grow strong. Let's see what he says to this. Ooh. The words you speak seem to strike Dakon strangely. As you speak them, his forehead creases, then resettles into a normal passive expression. Interesting. Ooh, I got another item. Your will has brought you the knowing of the third circle of Zerthimon. With this knowing, I impart this to you. He takes the circle, and with a deft motion, he twists one of the links so one of the plates slides forth. He hands the plate to you. Meditate upon its teachings, and the knowing of it shall give you strength. Ah, did he just... Oh. Very well, I will study this circle. Is there more you can teach me? As you ask the words, you suddenly notice that Dakon isn't looking at you. He is holding the Unbroken Circle in his hands, studying it. His blade has taken on the same texture as the Unbroken Circle, and Dakon seems suddenly older somehow. Dakon? Dakon's black eyes rise from the circle and look at you. Know that I did not believe you would come to know the teachings of the circle. It is a difficult path you will walk in learning the ways of Zerthimon. Is your mind focused on this matter? I suppose so. Dakon's fingers feel around the edge of the stone circle and he twists it clockwise. Yes, same thing. He's opened the next level of the circle, and I will read it. Okay. Third circle. Allows you to copy Submerge the Will. Let's see, does it actually tell us what that thing does? No, I guess I'll have to look into my spell book.
It's in my spell book.
Well, let's go on. Let's unlock the fourth circle. Okay. Know that the rising of the people against the Illithid was a thing built upon many 10 turnings of labor. Many of the people were gathered and taught in secret the ways of defeating their Illithid masters. They were taught to shield their minds and use them as weapons. They were taught the scripture of steel, and most importantly, they were given the knowing of freedom. Some of the people learned the nature of freedom and took it into their hearts. The knowing gave them strength. Others feared freedom and kept silent. But there were those that knew freedom and knew slavery, and it was their choice that the people remained chained. One of these was Vilquar. Or just Vilquar. Okay. Vilquar saw no freedom in the rising, but opportunity. He saw that the Illithid had spawned across many of the false worlds. Their worlds numbered so many that their vision was turned only outwards to all they did not already touch. Vilquar's eyes saw that much took place that the Illithids did not see. To the rising, the Illithid were blinded. Vilquar came before his master, the Illithid Zigitaris, with the knowing of the rising. Vilquar added to his chains and offered to be their eyes against the rising. In exchange, Vilquar asked that he be rewarded for his service. The Illithid agreed to his contract. At the bonding of the contract, a dark time occurred. Many were the betrayals Vilquar committed, and many were the people that the Illithids fed upon to stem the rising. It seemed that the rising would die before it could occur, and the Illithid were pleased with Vilquar's eye. It was near the end of this dark time when Zerthimon came to know Vilquar's treacheries. In knowing Vilquar's eye, Zerthimon forced the rising to silence itself, so that Vilquar might think at least his treacheries had succeeded, and the rising had fallen. He knew that Vilquar's eye was filled only with the reward he had been promised. He would see what he wished to see. With the greed beating in his heart, Vilquar came upon the Illithid Zigitaris and spoke to his master of his success. He said that the rising had fallen, and the Illithids were safe to turn their eyes outwards once more. He praised their wisdom in using Vilquar's eyes, and he asked them for his reward. In his greed blindness, Vilquar had forgotten the knowing of why the people had sought freedom. He had lost the knowing of what slavery meant. He had forgotten what his Illithid master saw when they looked upon him. And so Vilquar's betrayal of the people was ended with another betrayal. Vilquar came to know that when Vilquar's eyes had nothing left to see, Vilquar's eye was useless. The Illithid gave to Vilquar his reward. opening the cavity of his skull and devouring his brain. Vilquar's corpse was cast upon the fields of husks, so its blood might water the poison-stemmed grasses. Ouch.
What is your will?
Okay. Talk about some teachings. We read your circle. Wow, okay. Oh. Interesting. Alright. This still seems like the correct choice. When one chooses to see only what is before them, they see only a part of the whole. They are blind, and just as Vilquar was blinded by his promised reward, so were the Illithids blinded to the true rising. For when they heard Vilquar's words, they turned their sight outwards again, didn't they? And the rising was free to strike. Nice. 1500. Know that you speak truly. Vilquar's eye blinded both Vilquar and the Illithids. The tentacled ones thought the rising to be no more. When the rising occurred, the ground drank deep of Illithid blood. So was victory born from treachery. It is a curious lesson. Why would it be part of the teachings of Zerthimon? Dakon's blade bleeds into a dead night black, and his voice deepens. For a moment you think he's angry, but you're not so sure. There is much about the way of Zerthimon and his path that is difficult to know. Do you know why Vilquar's eye is part of the way of Zerthimon? It is part of the telling of how our people came to know freedom. It lets us know that there are those, even among the people, who are not of the people, and that even in the greatest treachery, a greater knowing may be achieved. Very well. You have come to know the fourth circle of Zerthimon. He takes a circle and with a deft motion, twists one of the links so one of the plates slides forth. He hands the plate to you. Meditate upon its teachings and knowing, I would know more of the way of Zerthimon. And he does this whole sliding thing and opens the next. Yes, good to go.
I feel stronger.
Ooh, a level up. Well, let's do the spell first. Allows user to copy Vilquar's eye. Okay.
It's in my spell book.
And let us... status... level up. 10 hit points, yay! Spell memorization abilities, awesome. Ooh. What do we do? What do we do? Keep boosting intelligence, keep boosting wisdom, boost strength, boost charisma. Your intelligence surpasses that of mortal men. Okay. Your wisdom is of heroic proportion. Oh. You gain a substantial bonus to all earned experience points. Or I can boost my charisma. Persuasiveness, personal magnetism, and ability to lead. I think I'm going to put this one into... I could also put it in Constitution. Or Dexterity. My Dexterity is pretty pathetic. At least this gets me above average. Alright. I'll take it. Okay. Next. 5th circle. Alright. Zerthimon was the first to know the way of freedom, yet it was not he that first came to know the way of rebellion. The knowing of rebellion came to the warrior queen Gith, one of the people. She had served the Illithids upon many of the false worlds as a soldier, and she had come to know war and carried it in her heart. She had come to know how others might be organized to subjugate others. She knew the paths of power, and she knew the art of taking from the conquerors the weapons by which they could be defeated. Her mind was focused, and both her will and her blade were as one. The turning in which Zerthimon came to know Gith, Zerthimon ceased to know himself. Her words were as fires lit in the hearts of all who heard her. In hearing her words, he wished to know war. He knew not what afflicted him, but he knew he wished to join his blade to Gith. He wished to give his hate expression and share his pain with the Illithid. Gith was one of the people, but her knowing of herself was greater than any Zerthimon had ever encountered. She knew the ways of flesh, she knew the Illithids, and in knowing herself, she was to know how to defeat them in battle. The strength of her knowing was so great that all those that walked her path came to know themselves. Gith was but one. Her strength was such that it caused others to know their strength, and Zerthimon laid his steel at her feet. Okay. Well, let's see what he says about that.
What is your will?
Okay. What did we come to know? There is a great strength in numbers, but there is a great power in one. For the strength of the will of one may gather numbers to it. There is strength not only in knowing the self, but knowing how to bring it forth in others. Nice. You have come to know the 5th circle of Zerthimon. With this knowing, I impart this to you. Now he takes it apart and hands me the piece. Oh. And he opens up the next one. Okay. What did he give us? Power of 1. 30 minutes per level.
It's in my spell book.
Okay. Talk to him. Oh, how many levels are there? 6th level. Upon the blasted plains, Zerthimon told Gith there cannot be two skies. In the wake of his words came war. Upon the blasted plains, the people had achieved victory over their Illithid masters. They knew freedom. Yet before the green fires had died from the battlefield, Gith spoke of continuing the war. Many still filled with the bloodlust in their hearts agreed with her. She spoke of not merely defeating the Illithids, but destroying all Illithids across the plains. After the Illithids had been exterminated, they would bring war to all the racers they encountered. Wow, okay. In Gith's heart, fires raged. She lived in war, and in war she knew herself. All that her eyes saw, she wanted to conquer. Zerthimon spoke the beginnings of that which was against Gith's will. He spoke that the people already knew freedom, now they should know themselves again, and mend the damage that had been done to the people. Behind his words were many other hearts of the people who were weary of the war against the Illithid. Know that Gith's heart was not Zerthimon's heart on the matter. She said that war would continue, the Illithid would be destroyed, their flesh would be no more, the people would claim the false worlds as their own. Gith told Zerthimon that they would be under the same sky in this matter. The words were like bared steel. From Zerthimon came the pronouncement of two skies. In the wake of his words came war. Okay.
What is your will?
Let's ask him about that one. What did you come to know? I know that Zerthimon's devotion to the people was such that he was willing to protect them from themselves. He knew the Illithids had come not to know themselves in their obsession with control and domination. So he chose to stop Gith before she carried the people to their deaths. There must be balance in all things, or else the self will not hold. Ooh, 5,000. You have seen the words and know them. Dakon's voice slows, and his hands grip the edges of the unbroken circle. He twists it clockwise, and there is a click as 2 plates slide forth. Dakon stares at the 2 plates in his hands. He makes no move to hand them to you. Dakon, is that second plate for you? Dakon falls silent. His blade has ceased shimmering, the film freezing upon its surface. He is staring at the second plate, paralyzed. Do you know the 6th circle? Dakon looks up, but his cold black eyes do not meet your gaze. No, there is nothing more I may teach you. You know the way as the people know it, and it shall give you the direction by which you may know yourself. That's not what I asked. Do you know the 6th circle or not? Dakon is silent for a moment, then speaks, his voice slow and careful. It has come to pass that I do not know the 6th circle of Zerthimon. Once I knew it, but I know now I only saw the words. Dakon's eyes stare through you. That is all. It is my path that I no longer know the way of Zerthimon. Dakon, there is one other thing I would know. Why is Vilkar's eye in the circle of Zerthimon? It seems strange. It tells of how the people benefited from a treachery from their own, it seems. Dakon's eyes flash. I have told you it is part of the telling of how the people came to know freedom. Do you not listen? His voice flattens as if he is reciting a passage from memory. It tells the people that even in the greatest treachery, a greater knowing may be achieved. It doesn't sound to me like you believe that. I think there's another reason why Vilkar's eye is in the circle of Zerthimon. It is set there because of the 6th circle and the pronouncement of 2 skies. It is there to justify Zerthimon's treachery to the people upon the blasted plains. Dakon is silent, and his blade bleeds into a dead black, teeth rippling along the edge. He divided the people upon the blasted plains, Dakon. He divided your race when they were on the path of victory. I would like to believe that it was because he wished to save the people from themselves, but I don't think you believe that. Dakon is silent for a moment, then he speaks slowly. I do not know the 6th circle as it is known to others. I fear that the 3rd circle, the 4th circle, and the 6th circle are more closely linked than many know. It is in that knowing that I have lost myself. In the 3rd circle, Zerthimon submerged his will to deceive the Illithids. Then in the 4th circle, it speaks of the benefits of treachery. Then in the 6th circle, Zerthimon divides his people before they exterminate the Illithids. Do you think Zerthimon's words may not have been his own? Know my words, and know the wound that lies upon my heart. I fear that when Zerthimon was upon the Pillars of Silence, he did not submerge his will. I fear his will was taken from him by the Illithids, and when he spoke upon the blasted plains, it was their words he spoke. I fear that what he did was not for the people's sake, but for our former masters. It's possible, but no, it doesn't necessarily mean that...
Updated my journal.
Then know this and speak of it no more. Dakon's voice is like a knife. Know that I shall never know the truth. There is no resolution in this matter, for I shall never know Zerthimon's heart upon the blasted plains. His coal black eyes glare at the stone circle in his hand. And so I do not know myself because of the Unbroken Circle of Zerthimon. Well, very well, Dakon. We'll discuss this no more. Let's move on. Huh. What am I supposed to do with this? Balance in all things.
It's in my spell book.
Am I supposed to give it to him? I have no idea. Or can he use it?
Spell has been added to my teachings.
Ah, okay. Well, let's see if there's anything else. Oh. Examine the plates. See if you can puzzle out any new combinations. Well, that's different. Ooh! As you examine the rings of the second circle, you find a strange link in the plates that mentions the laboring of the Gith people to achieve the rising. A new circle emerges from the link, and you unlock it, pulling the plate forth so you can study it. Okay, here we go. Know that the rising of the people against the Illithid was a thing built upon many turnings. Many were the people who lived and died under Time's blade while the rising was shaped. The rising was shaped upon a slow foundation. Steel was gathered so that it might mark Illithid flesh. A means of knowing the moments of the Illithids was established. At first weak and confused, then stronger, like a child finding its voice. When the moments were known, then the Illithids were observed. In observing them, their ways of the mind were known. When the ways of the Illithid were known, many of the people were gathered and taught in secret the means to shield their minds, and the way to harness their will as weapons. They were taught the scripture of steel, and most importantly, they were given the knowing of freedom. These things were not learned quickly. The first knowing of much of the way was slow, and all these things Time's weight fell upon all. From the knowing of one's reflection in a steel blade, to the knowing of submerging the will, to the knowing of seeing itself, all of these things and the more the people built upon. In time, they came to know the whole. I wonder if we can talk to him about that.
What is your will?
Teachings. I have read, yep. What did you come to know? There was a seventh circle within the stone of Zerthimon. It spoke of the building of the rebellion against the Illithids. Dakon falls silent. What does this seventh circle speak of? I don't know. It speaks of time and labor, but I haven't found meaning in it. When I come to know its wisdom, I shall share it with you. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. We can't get any further. Alright. That just leaves us with... Oh, actually, maybe we should take a look at my spell. I have a spell called Friends. Huh. 2 to 8 points of charisma. Okay. Scripture of Steel, Subvergence of Will. When cast magic aura, protected raises, protects the recipient from attacks from all directions. AC 2 against all attacks. Let's see. Target creature fails its saving throw at -1 penalty. The creature will be struck with blindness. Suffer a -4 penalty to its attack rolls. Scripture of Steel grants a +1 to hit and +1 to saves to all creatures that are friendly to the caster in a 50 feet radius from the casting point. Power of 1. Ah. How long does this last? 30 minutes. Boost my strength. Balance in all things. Spell only affects the caster. When the caster is attacked while the spell is in effect, all hostile creatures in a 10-foot radius take equal damage. Lasts for 1 attack per 4 levels of the caster, and the effects are not cumulative. Ah. If the spell is not triggered, it lasts for 5 seconds per level of the caster. So, not very long. Axe of Torment. Huh. I did like the ball of lightning, though. Whoop. Oh, 1 media for each level of experience up to a maximum of 10. I see. Got some more ball lightning. Okay. Okie dokie. Whew. That was a lot of reading.
I'm gone.
Now let's find out what this place is.
I'm gone.
Oh, interesting. Oh, what is that?
All right.
Sensory stone. This grayish-white stone, held in a mesh of engraved silvered bands, pulses with light. Something was once inscribed in its base, but the writing has been scoured away.
Updated my journal.
Oh, what did he say? Hidden chamber beneath the brothel contained a number of glowing stones, 10 in fact. One of them was blank. Oh, well, let's find out what the other ones say. This translucent indigo stone, held in a mesh of engraved silver bands, pulses with deep blue light. Inscribed in its base is the word Juliet.
Done. Done.
Nenny. So there's like a stone for each of the
I'm gone.
the girls. Is there anything else in here? Echo?
All right.
Vivian.
Done.
I wonder if the... Oh, there's somebody down here. Huh. The man, looking slightly puzzled, nods as you approach. Greetings, sir. Might I ask how you came to be here? I just came down those stairs, through that strange door I found. I'd best work on concealing a bit better then, he shrugs, then smiles at you. I'm the brothel's caretaker, by the way. You're not supposed to be down here, really, but it's alright if you look about for a bit. Question time. He smiles nervously. I really shouldn't even allow you down here, let alone be chatting with you. Please, no questions for now. Tell me what this place is, at least. It's where the ladies' sensory stones are kept. They use them as diaries of a sort. You won't be able to use them, if that's what you're thinking. Each of them is attuned to one particular student of the brothel, so that only she may access that stone.
Updated my journal.
Ah, okay.
Done.
Delora.
I'm gone. I'm gone.
Okay.
I'm gone.
What does this one say? Ives. Can't go out there, can you? No. Okay, it wasn't really very helpful.
All right.
Did these guys gonna... Wonder if these guys will say anything. Huh. This dashing nobleman eyes your advance with an air of contempt. I am here to speak with a lady, sir, not to one such as yourself. I certainly hope you hadn't planned on pestering me with questions and the like. In fact, I did have some questions. Ooh. The nobleman narrows his eyes at you. I do not care. Not a whit. Now away with you, go on. Leave me be. I'll advise you to show some respect. He closes his eyes and exhales slowly, as if to calm himself. If such an act is required to rid myself of you, then so be it. It would be so kind, sir, I would most humbly ask that you leave my side and seek conversation elsewhere. Fine. This guy looks different. This kindly looking older man turns as you approach and nods politely. Greetings, is there something I might help you with? Whoa. Ah. Let's see, I've spoken to 9 prostitutes together. Do you know who or where the 10th student is? The old man frowns and scratches at his beard. If there is a 10th student, my young friend, I would be most eager to meet her. But as far as I know, there is none. Huh. Do you know where Marissa's veil is? Shakes his head. I know the veil of which you speak. Once or twice I have seen Marissa outside the brothel wearing her veil, but I do not know where it is now. Vivian sent. No, he does not know. Silent. He doesn't know about that either. Why don't we go speak with Fall from Grace?
How may I help you?
Questions? I spoke to 9 of the students as you asked, but I could not find the 10th. And all she says, and you could not find the 10th student? How curious. Well, this makes the most sense. I'm thinking this 10th student is me, in which case I've spoken to all of them. Ah, she nods. Very well, and your thoughts? You should get rid of all the armoires in the brothel and use them as firewood. I have learned what it means to aspire to be a sensate, and that it is better to go in search of experience rather than have it come to you. Oh. Fall from Grace nods. Very well. I will travel with you, if you still desire my company. Sure.
You know, I've learned some new tricks. Oh, Mistress High and Mighty will be joining us. What do we need her for?
Ooh. Oh, she doesn't like her.
You couldn't possibly understand.
I wish she would fall from great height. I might even bump her off myself.
Oh, what is she doing? Somebody leveled up. Whoa.
May my faith lend me strength. May my faith lend me strength. May my faith lend me strength.
Okay. She just, what's she got here? Oh, she's got a diary. No matter how hard you try, the lock resists your attempts to open it. Well, I didn't want to read it anyway. Oop. What's her stats? Oh, she's a priest. Okay. Really high charisma. Wisdom, terrible strength. Oh, Anna leveled up. Okay. No thief skill points. Too bad. Level 6. What am I? Level 8. Okie dokie. I suppose we could... I wonder if there's anything we could find out by talking to her.
Yes?
Ooh. Huh. Can you teach me anything about the art, Grace? Ah. No, I don't believe so. The art and the disciplines I practice are different. How do you mean? My powers as you see them stem from my faith, not from manipulating energies as the art does. The art is a mechanism by which the power of the multiverse may be harnessed through gestures, rituals, and devices. My powers come to me through a different means. My faith in the nature of my belief allows some of the multiverse to reveal itself to me. The nature of your belief, what do you believe in? I believe in experience. I believe a person may be changed for the better the more the multiverse they are allowed to perceive, and the more the multiverse is allowed to perceive them. My belief in the nature of experience allows me to. She pauses for a moment, thinking. I suppose the best explanation is that my faith allows me to see things differently. When you see the multiverse in such a way, you learn how to change things, mending wounds, seeing a person's heart, and so on, just by willing them to happen. But these changes you make seem a lot like spells. How do you learn to do these things? Do you have a spell book? No. My spells, as you call them, they come to me after I have rested and centered myself. When I sleep and awaken, I can focus myself once more. The amount of faith required to change the multiverse around me can be quite taxing on the psyche, I'm afraid. Just being able to see how to change things is not enough. You must have the strength to make the change happen at last.
Yes?
I wanted to talk to you about our companions. Do you ever use weapons? No, she doesn't use weapons? There's seldom the need, and I find that I cannot bear the touch of cold iron or even steel for long periods of time. In any event, I have a number of natural defenses that tend to discourage attackers.
Updated my
Such
journal.
as... The kiss of a succubus is lethal to mortals, though they rarely realize the danger until their death is almost upon them. Fall from Grace sighs. I can resort to it when need arises. Intriguing. I mean frightening. Let's move on. Oh, interesting. Can I read your diary? No. Please? Grace gives a slight smile. A lady must have her secrets. Yives said you had a tale you wouldn't share with her. That is correct. Yives needs no more tales adding to her misery, and my tale would not serve her search for the truth. Would you tell me? It is a long tale, and not as interesting as some would make it out to be. She sighs. It is intertwined in other tales of war and slavery. It is not a pleasant tale. I still want to hear it. Very well. No, my past is not a long one. At least by Tanari standards. I do not know if you're familiar with the Tanari, but we are a race of the Abyss, a staggered series of planes filled with chaos and evil hearts. I am a Tanari. Tenari. A fiend, a succubus. I grew up upon the first plane of the abyss. My mother was a succubus herself. As I'm sure you are aware, the succubi tempt mortals to bring their souls to the abyss. My mother was among the finest, seducing countless mortal men to their eternal damnation. She now dwells in the abyss, selling her children into slavery. What? Your mother sold you into slavery? Yes, she sold me to the Batizu, the blood enemies of the Tenari. I think she rather expected that they would kill me. Despite her knowledge of other subjects, she knows little of their culture and the delight they take in tormenting others. How did you escape? The Batizu are a proud species. The thought a Tenari could best them at anything was intolerable to them. So I challenged one of the proudest of the curmudgeon to a contest of improvisation, and my Tenari nature afforded me an advantage. You see, the Tenari are creatures of chaos, wild and unpredictable. The Batizo are more cunning, with orderly hearts. They understand improvisation, but they are not its best practitioners, and thus I won my freedom, and my path brought me to Sigil. Okay. I wonder why we can ask her about this again. I established the brothel to give those lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression. Yeah, I think we've already read this. Why establish member of the Society of Sensation, yada yada. Yeah, we definitely read this, I remember. Yep.
Yes?
Other questions. Let's see. I wanted to talk about our companions. Oof. Me. Oh my goodness. Curious as to your feelings about me. Grace gives a slight smile. A lady must have her secrets. Well, I'd like to know your thoughts on my situation then. Do you know anything else that might prove helpful? Well, shadows keep coming to kill me. I have a feeling they're following me, but I don't know why. Shadows? Fall from Grace is silent for a moment. Shadows are shades of the dead. They do not tend to hunt. They tend to lie in wait for victims. Curious. Other thoughts? Well, I think there's someone out to murder me. So much so I built a tomb trap to try and kill them. According to an inscription in the tomb, he's been coming after me for, well, as long as my incarnations can remember, it seems. Then, whoever the killer is, he's lived a very long time to have pursued you so long. She taps her chin for a moment. Could the killer be immortal as well? Possibly. Okay, nothing of importance. Other companions. You! Oh. Do you have any idea who or what I might be? Grace frowns in thought. I freely admit that you are something of an enigma. She smiles, but I find such mysteries intriguing. Shall we attempt to puzzle out your situation? Okay. First, while it is possible that you are a tiefling or some rare crossbreed, my guess is that you are human, or were at one time. Alright, go on. Your appearance is approximately a male in his early 30s. The stitching and scar tissue make an exact determination difficult. Tell me about it. Go on. The key to your past is your memory, and it seems that certain locations, events, and people trigger seemingly forgotten memories. It would seem to be in your best interest to visit as many locations as possible and speak to as many others as possible. In short, experience your universe as much as possible. A sensate's advice, eh? Fall from Grace gives a bemused smile. I would not advise it if I did not practice it, and if you did not already know it to be true. What about, there may be something else that would shed light on my situation. Oh, this.
Yes?
Okay, how about Morty? Morty is most peculiar. I have seen a great deal in my life, but nothing quite like him. He behaves somewhat like a mimmer. Mimmer? Granted, there's no denying he is knowledgeable, but he has a certain... She sniffs the air and wrinkles her nose. Batorian smell about him. Batorian smell? Yes, but he's not a Baitizu. Ugh. At least of any variety I've encountered. The smell alone, however, makes me treat the skull with caution. What do you mean when you say Baitizu in Batorian? My apologies. Bator is one of the outer planes, the home of a race of fiends called the Baitizu. They are evil creatures, yet they are organized and lawful in many of their behaviors. Some may call them devils. They believe in contracts and hierarchy. In many ways, they are like evil bureaucrats. But what were you saying about a Batorian smell? Oh, it's the same thing. What were you saying about a mimmer? Mimmers are encyclopedias of knowledge. The owner may ask them questions, and if they possess the knowledge, they will inform the user of what it knows. And Morty is a mimmer? I don't believe so. Morty lacks the silvery metal that mimmers customarily have, and he seems to have an attitude of his own. Such qualities are not present in conventional mimmers. Grace shrugs slightly. He may be one, but he's unlike any I've ever encountered. Let's see. Morty told me he's a mimmer. Did he? Most curious. Very well then. Do we believe him or do we not believe him? Why don't we go with the pessimistic response? I don't think I believe him. Perhaps there's some test to verify his authenticity. Can't talk. Authenticity. Oh, you know what I mean. But I would not do one if you value him as a friend. If you do, then you must accept what he has told you. Okay. Let's talk about someone else. How about Anna? She is strong and capable, and she is quite passionate. I almost wish I had met her long ago and asked her to come to the brothel. Perhaps things might have been different. Grace studies you for a moment. What do you think of her? I don't trust her. She has her uses, nothing more. I hate her. Don't really care about her. Well, I think I could fall in love with her. Yeah, I do like the Scottish accent. Let's see what she says to that. You might wish to tell her so. Huh. I don't know. I seem to leave this wreckage wherever I go, with Dayanara especially, and the lives of others I've touched. It might be best to leave well enough alone. Wonder what she says to this. To that, I would say this. Love may move the planes themselves when it is strong and true, and there is nothing truer in all of my experiences than the truth about how one feels about another. Perhaps so. I want to talk about someone else. How about Dakun? Dakun, Grace raised an eyebrow. He's most uncommon for a Githzeri. Really, in what way? Well, he obeys you. That alone would mark him as a pariah among his people. His entire race were once slaves, and even the reminder of servitude to them is distasteful. Anything else? Dakun approaches everything in an orderly fashion. Again, most curious for a Githzeri. They tend to be unpredictable. They follow their impulses rather than plan. Anything else? He seems a most pious Githzeri and a steadfast ally. That he is. What about the... Let's see what she says to... I don't think she cared for you very much. I would agree, Grace smiles, but I shall not let you dodge my questions so easily. What do you... Same thing. If I do, it'll be my choice. Very well. Let's move on. And I think, guys, I'm gonna have to end this episode here. I can already tell that my voice is starting to kind of go out. Next time, we need to find, complete these little quests for these women, and we need to get out of this place and explore something different. Hopefully next time. I'll see you there, guys. Bye-bye.